The old house was silent, suffocating in its stillness. Outside, the moon's light never touched the dusty windows. I was trapped, every door locked, every window nailed shut. Only a distant drip echoed, counting down the seconds. A cold draft curled around my ankles, and I felt the house watching me. Then whispers began, faint, ancient, hungry. They spoke of secrets buried, deep sorrows soaked into the wood. I pressed my hands to my ears, but the whispers were inside my head. I ran from room to room, but every exit was sealed. The house was a tomb, and I was buried alive. The darkness pressed in, thick and heavy, slowing my every move. The dripping stopped. Silence fell, a void more terrifying than any sound. The whispers hushed, as if waiting. I stood frozen, sensing the house was no longer just watching. It was waiting. Waiting for me to move, to scream. But I knew, with chilling certainty, that screaming would do no good. The house was alive with secrets, and I was its prisoner. I found a candle and matches, my hands shaking as I lit a small flame. Shadows danced on the walls, twisting into monstrous shapes, gnarled hands, gaping mouths. I tried to believe it was just the light, but fear knotted in my stomach. A grandfather clock stood nearby, its hands frozen at midnight. Suddenly, it ticked, deep, resonant, but unmoving. Time felt trapped, just like me. The shadows recoiled and leapt with every flicker of the candle. They clung to corners, darker than they should be, forming a cage around me. My own shadow lagged behind, moving with a mind of its own. For a moment, it turned to look at me. I stumbled back, heart pounding. Was I losing my mind? Or were the shadows more than just tricks of the light? The darkness was patient, waiting for my flame to die. I clung to the candle, my only fragile shield. In this house, even my own shadow couldn't be trusted. I kept moving, standing still felt like surrender. The hallway grew colder, my breath misted in the candlelight. The walls seemed to pulse, damp and alive beneath my hand. The house was breathing a slow, rhythmic inhale and exhale. I was inside something living, and it knew I was there. The whispers returned, louder, coming from the walls. Escape felt impossible. How do you leave when you're already inside? The hallway stretched endlessly, the door at the end shrinking with every step. The space closed in, the ceiling lowering, the walls pressing tight. My candle flickered, panic rising. Without light, I'd be lost in the living darkness. The house's breathing grew louder, a deep rumble in my chest. Something was waking up, and I was trapped inside. I reached a door at the end of the hall, hesitating before turning the cold brass knob. The room beyond was vast, empty, and freezing, unnaturally cold. The door slammed shut behind me, echoing like a gunshot. I was alone, or so I thought. A prickling sensation crawled up my neck, the feeling of being watched. I scanned the darkness but saw nothing. Yet I felt eyes, dozens, maybe hundreds, fixed on me. The pressure was suffocating, every move observed by an unseen audience. The whispers returned, swirling around me, forming a single question. Who are you? I couldn't answer, fear tightening my throat. The silence between whispers was heavy, expectant. I felt drawn to the single chair in the center, as if surrendering would end it all. The house demanded an answer, and I knew it wouldn't let me go until I gave one. I stood frozen, the candle's flame my only companion in the watching dark. My eyes found a large, grimy mirror on the far wall. Drawn by dread, I approached, my reflection flickering in the darkness. My face stared back, pale, terrified, but somehow not quite mine. The fear in my reflection's eyes was deeper, wilder. The whispers grew louder. Who are you? I leaned closer, searching for answers. Then something moved inside the mirror, not behind me, but within the glass. My reflection's eyes darkened, a cruel smile twisting its lips. The whispers stopped. My own voice echoed from the mirror, warped and hateful. I know who you are, it said. You locked the doors. You trapped us here. The house wasn't the monster. The shadows weren't the monster. I stumbled back, a scream tearing from my throat. My reflection grinned, unmoving, its eyes endless and black. The monster I'd feared was inside me all along. In this house, my darkness had finally found its home.